Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jackson, aka Nothing Speaks to Me, and today we're going to be reviewing the movie The Primate. The Primate is a movie that follows Ben, a chimpanzee who has contracted rabies that goes on to have a complete killing spree. The director of this movie is Joanne Roberts, who has also directed 47 Meters Down. Our protagonist is played by Johnny Sequoia. Sorry if I mispronounced her name. Kate is played by Victoria Wyatt. Hannah is played by Jessica Alexander. And Nick is played by Benjamin Chang. Ben, the chimpanzee, is played by Miguel Umba. Okay, so the spoiler-free portion of this movie review would just have to be the same as the summary of the movie. It's about Ben, a chimpanzee.
You are not
who contracts rabies from a mongoose and actually ends up getting the rabies, and then he goes on a killing spree because he is a chimpanzee owned by humans and he's now rabid.
not kill.
So essentially, if you have seen the trailer, you've basically seen the movie. To me, it seems as though the Primate is the Planet of the Apes.
Oh no!
Meets Terrifier. So, as if Caesar, the chimp from Planet of the Apes, if he actually turned evil and went on a killing spree in essence of Art the Clown. The kill scenes in this movie are very gory. They make sure to get nice close up, make sure you see everything, the sound effects. They really wanted the audience to be squirming in their seats.
Brother,
Okay, spoiler alert. If you have not seen this movie and you wish to do so, click off of this video, go watch the movie, and come back afterwards. The movie kicks off with our protagonist Lucy coming home on college break. Her and her friend Kate are actually from Hawaii, and they're getting onto a plane and they're gonna head back to visit family and everything like that. This is actually Lucy's first time coming home since her mother has passed away.
Life could be worse. No, not really. This is the worst.
This is the worst.
It's actually just supposed to be Lucy and Kate who are going back to Hawaii. Their childhood friend, they were off at college together and now they're going home. But Kate actually invited another friend who Lucy knows but isn't very fond of. Her name is Hannah.
I like the fact that I don't like you.
Once the plane lands, Kate, Hannah, and Lucy all get off the plane, and Kate's brother Nick is actually the one who picks them up from the airport. He makes a comment about Lucy's father being a little bit too busy with something to come pick them up. Right off the bat, we get some sort of tension between Lucy and Nick. It does seem mutual from both ends, a little bit flirty, but at the same time, they also grew up together, so they obviously have, like, some sort of history together.
Cool.
Well...
Once they arrive at Lucy's cliff hillside mansion overlooking the entire ocean, beautiful, they go inside to where we're introduced to Lucy's father, who actually is deaf. Him being deaf doesn't directly impact the outcome of the movie, however it does call for a couple scenes later towards the very end of the movie with him being deaf and there being a murderous chimp on the loose in their house. We're then introduced to Lucy's younger sister and, of course, Ben. So they go on to explain how the family actually got Ben. Lucy's mom was a scientist, and one day she just brought Ben home. They had been doing sorts of lab reports and experiments on the chimps about how smart they are, essentially, and she brought him home one day.
It's a surprise. Do you like surprises?
We then find out that Nick will actually be staying with the girls while the dad has to go out on a book signing job. We then have Lucy's dad taking Ben into his enclosure for the night, and while he goes in there, he notices a dead mongoose on the ground. He asks Ben what happens, and Ben actually shows him that he got bit by this mongoose.
Ouch!
Lucy's dad does the right thing, checks on Ben, sees that he's slightly bit, but it looks as though he'll be okay in just a few days. He actually picks up the mongoose and decides to send it into a veterinary to do some tests to make sure it didn't have any diseases or anything of the sort, to which we do know that it had rabies, because that's actually how he got rabies, to make the whole movie.
Oh!
Lucy's dad then informs everybody that he's going to have one of his friends come by to check on Ben to make sure he's okay while he's not there during the book signing. Once Lucy's dad leaves, there's a lot of teenage partying and smoking and drinking and all of those sorts of things. Lucy actually calls some guys that they met from the airplane and invite them over. She gives them her address and tells them, come over, basically. They actually end up coming over later in the movie, and it plays a part in the movie as well.
Good job.
That's what we call efficiency.
Efficiency? Yeah, they're in there.
What?
Swimming and shit.
And then the guy that Lucy's father said was going to come over and check on Ben actually does come over, and instead of looking into the enclosure, shining the flashlight that he has through the enclosure, anything of the sort, he just unlocks the door and goes straight in. I feel as though that was not the right call. Granted, if he would have done any of those things, the movie would have never taken place, because he would have seen a rabid chimp on the other side, but instead he just barges into the enclosure to check on Ben. Obviously, Ben does attack him. They show later in the movie that he actually is Ben's first kill. He's the reason that Ben actually got out of the enclosure and was able to go on his killing spree.
Yo, can I get a GG's in the chat?
So it's late at night whenever Kate, Lucy's friend, is going through the house, and then Ben pops up out of nowhere. And at first she's like, hi Ben, what are you up to? And Ben is just standing there. He looks like he's sweating a little bit. It looks like he's uncontrollably drooling, and it's really tense. You can feel it. She decides to walk towards him, and when she does, Ben does kind of break and starts to charge at her, to which she runs backwards, slams the door, and locks it. Lucy comes downstairs to ask Kate what's going on. Kate just says there's something wrong with Ben. She doesn't elaborate anything like Ben charged at me, Ben tried to bite me, Ben looks scary. None of those things. I feel as though if she would have, the movie also could have ended there, because Lucy could have grabbed her phone and called her dad, called anybody, and then they would have gotten it taken care of way faster. So then we get to a scene where all of the kids and Ben are all down by the pool. Ben is obviously rabid, but he hasn't fully went on a mental break yet. It's it's slightly under control, but he's acting weird, and so he does actually try to bite Nick, Kate's brother. They decide to get a rope tied around him and basically anchor him to something, but it's a chimp. He's very strong. He also has teeth. He has 4 hands. He's gonna be able to get off of the rope. I'm pretty sure he bit through the rope. He either bit through it or broke it, because he's insanely strong. But when he did, he actually charged them, to which he got Lucy's little sister. He tackled her and bit her leg. And then someone yells, "Get into the pool." He can't swim. So all the kids, including Lucy's younger sister who just got bit, go into the pool to escape Ben because he can't swim. While they're in the pool, that's actually where Ben gets his second kill. They're in there, Ben's obviously trying to bite them, going around the ledge of the pool, whatever. He actually goes to the ledge that's like between, it's an infinity pool, so it's between the kids in the water, Ben, and then the cliff with the beautiful view, the ocean at this very, very long drop. So Nick says out loud, "I'm gonna push him off," which I don't think is the worst idea, but I feel like obviously it was gonna backfire. He's a very strong chimp. Chimps are known for climbing. If he were to grab anything, he could have just climbed right back up, you know what I mean? So, but Ben stands there, Nick charges him, and Nick actually does shove him, and Ben disappears for a second, and then they're all like, "Wow, Nick did it. Hooray." And then Ben climbs right back up and actually takes Nick and throws him over the pool edge. This is the first kill scene that's like on screen. Nick falls, I don't know how far down, but like for a very, very, very long time. And then he went head first because of the way that Ben threw him over, and he dies directly on impact. His neck does snap. They make sure to give close-up visuals and great sound effects for that kill. The next kill scene actually takes place whenever Lucy and Kate get out of the pool because Ben has disappeared, and they decide to go get a phone that's charging in the living room. During this time, you actually find out that like Ben is real sensitive to noises. They're hiding in a closet. Somehow the TV turns on to Dora and it's slightly loud, and Ben freaks out, smashes the TV while they're hiding in this closet. And then it fast forward a little bit, they make it outside. Ben is actively chasing them.
Yoinks! The scare pair!
Once they get to the stairs that lead down to the cave where the pool is, Ben actually trips Kate. After Ben trips Kate, he actually gets on top of her and kills her with his teeth. Essentially, he like bites her and rips her open with his bare hands, while Lucy actually makes a break for the pool. So now the only ones that are left is Lucy, her younger sister, and then the friend that she never cared much for, Hannah. That's actually whenever those boys that Lucy had called earlier in the movie show up. They actually just barge right in, start screaming that they're there for the party, this and that. They don't get confirmation that this is the right house. Granted, there are like no houses near this, and it'd be very hard to mix up the address because they're in a very remote part of Hawaii, but they still just barge in and just start snooping around, and they can't find anybody. That's whenever one of the boys makes it up to Lucy's bed. He sees a picture of Ben and is like, "Who owns a chimp?" And that's actually whenever Ben pops up and he actually straddles the boy. Ben is actively straddling this boy, like grabbed him by the wrist, and he's like held down to the bed. The boy grabs keys, tries dangling them in front of Ben, like tosses them and says go fetch to see maybe if he can get Ben off of him. Doesn't work, of course. That's actually whenever the boy gets very irritated and starts threatening Ben, to which Ben responds with his next kill scene. He actually takes his hand and grabs the boy's jaw and just pulls down until it rips off. And the boy's alive, of course, because he wouldn't die instantly, but he does bleed out just staring at this monkey play with the jaw. And then the next kill scene happens. The other boy finally made his way outside after snooping through the entire house. He actually sees the girls down in the pool and like yelling over the ledge, like, "What are y'all doing down there? Yada yada." And they're like, no, like they're trying to warn him that Ben's going to come, especially since he's yelling. To which Ben does come outside. This boy is one of the smarter characters in this movie. He starts fighting Ben and trying to hide. He finds a little, like, gardening shovel, a little bit longer, like, roughly this long, metal shovel, and actually starts swinging it, hits Ben a couple times, but Ben does grab said shovel and actually kills the boy with the shovel, and then all the girls are like, well, that was our last shot. Hannah decides that she can't take it anymore. She gets out of the pool, goes and finds a pair of keys, and gets into a car and actively tries to start the car. It's while she's sitting in there that she realizes she grabbed keys, but she got into the wrong car. Those keys aren't for the car that she's in. And then that's whenever the audience and Hannah finds out that Ben has the keys for the car that she's in, because she's in the car of those teenage boys that went inside the house. Hannah actually does get to call 911 during the time that Ben's like unlocking the door, locking the door, opening the trunk, trying to mess with her, just mashing buttons on the keys itself. And that's actually whenever Hannah dies. She's waiting for him to get into the car because he came in through the trunk, and she thought she had enough time, and right when she opened up her door, he's right there next to her. She still tries to get out of the car. She like takes a step, and he pulls her back in and kills her with his teeth again. That's how Hannah dies. Lucy's dad then comes home. He thinks that they've been partying all night because nobody's been answering their phone because they've been trapped inside a pool because of a rabid chimpanzee. That's whenever we actually get a couple funny scenes. At least I found it kind of funny. We have Lucy's dad just like walking towards the camera, and then you see Ben in the background, and Lucy, when she heard her dad come home, she actually got out of the pool and she tries to stop Ben from killing her dad. But then like while her dad's walking towards the camera, we just get scenes of like Ben like beating her up and pulling her away, and it's like all silent because they put it like through the perspective of the dad not being able to hear anything. So he almost kills Lucy. He doesn't quite get there. He snaps her wrist though, but then the dad gets to a certain part in the house and Ben leaves Lucy and goes after him. That's whenever we find out that Lucy's younger sister actually got out of the pool as well, and she's outside on like the terrace, and she's looking at Ben, and Ben starts to charge her. Of course, Lucy mustered up the strength to come and save her little sister. So they're all outside fighting, Ben's fighting, and then the dad finally makes his way outside after seeing the dead boy in Lucy's bedroom. To which we get the final fight scene where Ben is basically about to kill the dad and Lucy, but they grab the shovel and they actually survive. They thought that they killed him the first time, but they forgot to Zombieland double tap. Ben comes back, and then Lucy is standing in front of the edge of the terrace. So if they were to fall, it'd just be like down to the pool, basically.
So don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head.
But she's standing there, and Ben actually charges at her to attack her. She lets him, slightly turns, and they both fall off, but her dad is there, reaches out, grabs her hand, pulls her back up while Ben plummets to his death. That's whenever the police, the EMS, everybody shows up. They're there right whenever Lucy, her dad, and her younger sister are on the brink of death. The dad actually and Lucy are slightly better off than the younger sister because she got bit. She was the first one bitten, except for the caretaker, by Ben. And then the movie just ends with them putting her into the ambulance, and Lucy and her dad standing over her, just talking to her, saying everything was going to be okay. Okay, so I felt as though this was a pretty good film. There wasn't too much to critique. The only critiques I would have is if a couple people used some more better judgment, the movie would have never happened, which essentially would suck because the movie wouldn't have happened.
Oh my god! Wow!
if Lucy's father's friend that came to check on Ben in the first place, if he would have shined his flashlight through the enclosure, just glanced inside before just barging right in, especially because he found out that Ben had been bit, even if rabies aren't possible to contract on Hawaii, there are other diseases, I'm certain, that could happen, so he should have checked before just going in. That would have caused the movie not to have happened because Ben would have never gotten out in the first place.
Stop it. Get some help.
Secondly, if whenever Ben initially, scared Kate and she told Lucy something's wrong with Ben, if she would have elaborated a little bit, I feel as though the movie also wouldn't have happened because Lucy could have called her father. They could have done a couple of things. Instead, they all, surrounded Ben and then he was able to just, pick them off, essentially. And lastly, if, either they barricaded themselves in a room or if they just stayed in the pool until morning, they probably would have all survived except for, instead of Lucy, her younger sister, and her dad, because everybody else died, even Ben. Overall, I really did feel that this was a good movie, a good watch. I would definitely give this movie probably an 8 out of 10. Like I said, there wasn't much to critique other than things that would have caused the movie not to have taken place to begin with. It was really good. The visuals, the death scenes, the sound effects, everything were on par. So if you want to see a movie where the Planet of the Apes meets Terrifier, Caesar isn't a good ape. He actually is taught by Art the Clown how to kill. I think you should definitely give this movie a watch.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Jackson, aka Nothing Speaks to Me, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later.
Take your stinking paw off me, you damn dirty ape!